Could I have your attention, please? If some of you are still finishing your lunch, that's perfectly all right. We understand, and there's a cash bar available at the back, as well as the cookies from Nani's. I also want to start by saying a huge thank you to the Beach House. Let's give them a big round of applause for their wonderful lunch. Thank you. I also want to recognize a few other people before we begin. First, our former mayor who dedicated 20 years of great service to the city of Ottawa, Mayor Bob Eschbach. Former Mayor Bob. With us today, we also have Mayor Cohen Barnes, the mayor of DeKalb. So could you please stand? Delighted to have you here with us today. And we also have Dr. Tracy Morris, our president of IVCC. Let's hear it for Tracy. There are many others I would love to recognize, but we could be here all afternoon, so we'll go ahead and get started with the rest of the program. The main reason we're all here, I'm very honored to introduce Mayor Rob Hasty. Our incredible mayor will now provide an insightful address that will highlight the accomplishments of this past year and also provide a vision for the great city of Ottawa for the next coming year. Please join with me at this time in recognizing Mayor Rob Hasty.
Jay and I always have a lot of ribbon cuttings together, and he always does exactly what he did here, where he thanks every single person in the room, and then he turns it to me and says, "Mayor, would you like to say something?" And here we are again, where I have to now re-thank a lot of people, but this is coming from myself and the city, in addition to the Chamber of Commerce. I would like to begin this afternoon by thanking the Ottawa Area Chamber of Commerce, and specifically Executive Director Jay McCracken and Member Services Coordinator Caitlin Tucker for organizing this event for us. I'd also like to thank Carrie Harrow, who, with Caitlin's help, and I believe Carrie's son as well, made all of the centerpieces that everyone sees in front of them. I need to thank Elena Iverson, assistant to the mayor, for putting together everything you'll be seeing on the TV and compiling together from our many departments almost all of the information that I'll be sharing with you today. I also need to thank my fellow Green Jackets, the Ottawa Ambassadors, for their warm welcome. We're sitting here today in a venue that's different than years past, and I'm sure for some of you it's your first time in this building. The American Legion has recently been making some significant improvements to this facility with new windows, the chairs you're sitting on, and the new LED marquee out on LaSalle Street. They have big plans for further improvements, and I encourage each of you to consider them for your next event. I want to thank the American Legion not only for allowing us to use this space today, but to each of their members for their service to America. Thank you. I also, it's not in here, but I need to thank my parents and family because if I don't, I know that it'll be the very first question on the card from my dad. So thank you to my family and my parents as well. Last year, I began the State of the City address with a story about passing an ordinance on chickens. I used it as a way to not only remind everyone, but also to thank the many people that go into even the simplest of tasks within city government. I don't have a story to start with this year, but I promise to end with one that I'm sure everyone in this room can relate to. Instead, I want to simply recognize Commissioners Tom Gaynor, Wayne Eichelkraut, Marla Pearson, and Brent Barron. I also want to acknowledge Police Chief Mike Cheatham and Fire Chief Brian Bresner. Finally, all of the city hired employees, the over 100 volunteers on our committees and boards, and our appointed staff. It is not an exaggeration to say that many people don't understand or appreciate the hard work and dedication that goes into serving our great city. On behalf of the citizens of Ottawa, thank you. Let's start things off today by discussing our city's finances, which is overseen by Commissioner Eichelkraut. The City of Ottawa maintains reasonable but not excessive surpluses. The city operates in adherence to its budget, effectively deploying collected revenues and grant funding. The city's general corporate fund, which is the city's main operating account, is operating with a balanced budget. Tax revenues for the current budget ending April 30th, 2025 are projected to comprise 72.7% of total general fund revenues. This is lower than prior fiscal year ending April 30th, 2024, which was 77.6%. Approximately 17% of tax revenues are from property taxes. Approximately 46% of tax revenues are from sales taxes. Total budgeted general fund revenues for fiscal year 2025 are $24.9 million, an increase from fiscal year 2024, which were projected at $22.5 million. When considering all city funds, property taxes account for a larger portion of overall revenues. The equalized assessed valuation, which forms the basis of property tax revenues, is projected to increase this coming year for the 8th consecutive year and after 4 prior years of successive modest declines. With this in mind, I'd like to just point out that the last 2 years the city has requested a smaller levied percentage than the prior year. Last August, Governor Pritzker signed legislation eliminating the 1% grocery tax, effective January 2026, stating that it was a regressive tax and that it was part of Illinois' overall 2025 budget plan. What was not mentioned was that 1% didn't go to the state, but back to the municipalities where it was collected. Furthermore, the legislation allowed for Illinois municipalities to reapply by ordinance the 1% grocery tax or a 1% retail sales tax or both without referendum. The removal of that tax would result in a loss of revenue of over $750,000 for the city of Ottawa. That said, the council and I agreed with the governor's remarks about easing the burden at the grocery store. After all, everyone needs to eat. That is why last Tuesday we voted in favor to add an additional 1% on only the retail sales tax. This increase will recoup what would have been lost by the 1% grocery tax, while also allowing us to use a little extra revenue for long-planned projects such as the waterfront redevelopment and our new fire stations. The city has also effectively utilized tax increment financing districts and enterprise zones incentives to encourage new business development. We consistently funded each of our employees' pension funds obligations by actuarially recommended amounts, and the city effectively operates its business type activities, primarily its water and wastewater treatment operations, as well as NCAT municipal bus service, at near break even to a modest profit. We did not issue any new long-term debt during the fiscal year ending 2025. The City of Ottawa did receive bond ratings for its most recent prior bond issuances, and those bond issuances were insured. Standard & Poor's assigned a rating of AA, which is a stable outlook, and Moody's underlying credit rating of A3. Each is categorized as indicating a very strong capacity to meet financial commitments. The city's outstanding debt is below the state statutory limit of 8.625% of the value of the taxable property within its limits. All obligations have been paid as agreed. The city has prudently managed the resources available to it, stayed within its budgetary projections, proactively sought grant funding, and effectively utilized debt for financing necessary projects. Now, I would be remiss if I spoke about Wayne's department and did not discuss the North Central Area Transit. The City of Ottawa receives grant funding through state and federal transit programs to operate LaSalle County's public transportation provider, NCAT. NCAT provides demanded response, door-to-door public transportation Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Anyone can ride, going just about anywhere as long as that ride is in NCAT's service area and hours. All NCAT's vehicles are lift-equipped, making the fleet of 33 buses and vans ADA accessible. Ridership continues to increase, and NCAT has completed yet another record-setting year and is on track to do so again this fiscal year. Current trends suggest that NCAT will finish fiscal year 2025 with over 76,000 rides. Many of the benefits of public transportation go unnoticed to someone who doesn't use the service, but to those who do, it provides access to life-saving medical appointments, the ability to remain at home and independent as we age, or the opportunity to secure a job and provide for themselves and their family. And for those of us who do not use public transit, it reduces traffic congestion and pollution, and it can help to keep taxes down and can drive the local economy. Vehicle inventory continues to be a challenge for NCAT. While they do their best to keep the vehicles running safely and efficiently, over half of the fleet is past what the state considers useful life. NCAT was able to purchase four Transits this past spring and is anxiously awaiting delivery of 9 buses awarded through IDOT's Consolidated Vehicle Program. Most of these new vehicles will replace older ones in the fleet. NCAT is about halfway through a strategic plan development, which includes comprehensive operations analysis, SRF Consulting is providing an in-depth assessment of transit needs in the county. Analysis of NCAT's current services will be identifying opportunities for growth and improvement with a final report due fall of 2025. NCAT has many other programs to make scheduling and riding easier and more convenient. You can find more information about NCAT or how to ride by visiting ridencat.com. Now I'd like to discuss our public safety, which is overseen by Commissioner Gainier. The 2024-2025 fiscal year has been a year of transition and continued growth for both the Ottawa Police Department and Ottawa Central Dispatch. First, I'd like to congratulate former Chief Brent Rolson on his very short retirement. And I'd also like to thank him for his 28 plus years of service in uniform to the City of Ottawa. The city also needs to thank Sergeant Brendan Donahue, who retired after 23 years of service. Now I'd like to congratulate our new chief, Mike Cheatham. I'm not sure if Chief Cheatham will ever not be a tongue twister, but Commissioner Gainier, the City of Ottawa, and myself look forward to working with you and are confident you're going to do a great job. The city filled the position of Captain of Investigations role that Chief Cheatham previously held with the promotion of Mark Hoster. The City of Ottawa Police Department remained fully staffed with 39 sworn men and women, along with the department's 2 canines, Muskie and Minnie. Who proudly serve the Ottawa Police Department with integrity and dedication that far exceeds expectations. Officers continue to protect and preserve life and property throughout the Ottawa community with over 375 combined years of policing experience, and that's not including dog years. Officers responded to 19,158 calls for service, which was a slight increase from the previous year. That's 52 calls a day or 2 every hour. With the increased need for highly trained police officers, the department has been able to expand the extensive offering of officer-led, instructor-based training opportunities, including control tactics training, high-risk traffic stops, CPR and AED, driving force, rapid deployment, emergency medical response, and monthly firearms to comply with the increasing state mandates. The new training and equipment that was added would not have been possible without a $219,000 in-grant funding that was obtained collectively between the Ottawa Police Department and Ottawa Central Dispatch. The Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board camera grant was crucial for the purchase of Axon body-worn cameras for all officers that can be used to provide audio and video recordings of all interactions between police officers and the public, improving accountability and transparency. A grant through the Illinois Attorney General's office was utilized to significantly contribute to the purchase and installation of multiple flock safety cameras, including those installed in the parks throughout the city, ensuring the safety of all citizens and visitors in the community. Other grants obtained include a U.S. Department of Justice body armor grant, an Illinois Basic Academy reimbursement grant, an opioid canine grant, a central dispatch recorder grant, and a computer-aided dispatch interface, with the Total Response Program grant. All these grants help to make the Ottawa Police Department and Ottawa Central Dispatch the premier agencies that the community has come to know and expect. In August of 2024, the Police Department began offering a new and innovative program that targets some of our most vulnerable members of the community, both young and old, called Linked Autism Safety Project. This is a free program where caregivers of Ottawa's autism and special needs community can provide first responders with important individualized information for the purpose of having a pre-arrival care plan in place. Each family that registers is also provided with a family emergency plan packet, which provides the tools to ensure a safe and meaningful exchange of information between the parents, professionals, and other members of special needs community. All squad cars are equipped with sensory packs that can be used as a comfort tool or as a means of communication for our nonverbal community members. The Ottawa Police Department is committed to serving individuals in the community with differing abilities by developing this and other programs that can best meet the needs of all of our city's residents. Ottawa Central Dispatch, for the first time since 2019, is fully staffed with 17 dispatchers and 1 facility dog, Rookie. He happens to be one of my favorites, with a combined 227 years of experience. Dispatch received 10,820 emergency 911 calls and 50,256 non-emergency admin calls during the last year. The updates that have been completed in dispatch over the last year include an update of the emergency callworks systems, including the installation of a new recorder. As the Mabus Division 25 Primary Dispatch Center, they also updated the Mabus communication systems allowing agencies within a 5-county radius to be able to communicate clearly when handling a major emergency situation. In December of 2024, Ottawa Central Dispatch began a new program of Text to 911, which allows callers to text 911 when they are in an emergency situation and cannot safely call for help. This service is useful for citizens that are hard of hearing, deaf, or speech impaired. Text to 911 eliminates the necessity to use TTY equipment or a third-party translator service. Several of the schools throughout the community have invited Central Dispatch to present the program to teachers, offering them a secondary means of communication during a serious school incident. Ideally, callers are always encouraged to dial 911 directly so questions can be answered quickly and efficiently, keeping all responders and citizens safe, but they are proud to be on the leading edge of innovation technology within the dispatch center. As the department moves to the future with new leadership, Chief Cheatham, again, that's difficult for me to say, Chief Cheatham hopes to renew the mission of the Ottawa Police Department by investing in the department's greatest asset, their employees. There will be advanced training opportunities allowing staff to find new ways to better care for and protect the citizens and visitors in the Ottawa community. The department and city will look to improve and build upon the current communications infrastructure, allowing for a quicker and more efficient response for all first responders serving the Ottawa community. They will continue to work with the countless community groups to offer new growth opportunities for family-friendly events, improving the quality of life for all within the community. It is always and it is and always has been their hopes that the citizens and visitors of Ottawa can rest easy at night, knowing that the men and women, both sworn and civilian, that make up the Ottawa Police Department and Ottawa Central Dispatch are doing everything in their power to keep folks safe and will forever be serving the Ottawa community. In 2024, the Ottawa Fire Department launched a new CPR program aimed at enhancing community safety and emergency response readiness. The initiative focuses on equipping both firefighters and the general public with life-saving CPR skills. As part of the program, the department expanded training sessions for first responders and introduced free or low-cost CPR workshops for residents. The program also included public awareness campaigns emphasizing the importance of early intervention in cardiac emergencies. By increasing the number of trained individuals in the community, the Ottawa Fire Department aims to improve survival rates and overall emergency preparedness throughout Ottawa. In addition to this, the fire department was awarded an Assistant to Firefighter grant to fund the replacement and upgrade of its self-contained breathing apparatus equipment. The grant allows the department to enhance firefighter safety by providing advanced high-performance air packs that improve air supply, communication, and overall operational efficiency in hazardous environments. The funding supports the department's commitment to modernizing its equipment, ensuring compliance with the latest safety standards, and enhancing firefighter effectiveness during emergency responses. The grant represents a significant investment in the well-being of the Ottawa Fire Department personnel and the community they serve. The fire department also acquired a new ambulance in 2024 from Osage Ambulance, aimed to enhance its emergency medical services and response capabilities. The state-of-the-art ambulance is equipped with an advanced medical technology, improved patient care features, and enhanced safety measures for both responders and patients. I can't really see it where I'm at, but I'd also like to add that I really dig the red and gray color scheme that they're going with. I think it's really cool. The addition of this vehicle strengthens OFD's ability to provide timely and efficient emergency medical care to the community. The investment aligns with the department's commitment to modernizing its fleet and ensuring high-quality pre-hospital care for Ottawa residents. The past year has seen the Ottawa Fire Department responding to 4,268 calls for service, encompassing fire suppression, medical emergencies, technical rescues, and hazardous materials incidences. Each call represents their promise to be there when you need them most, and I am incredibly proud of the professionalism and courage demonstrated by our firefighters and staff. This year, our crews responded to 3,577 emergency medical calls, ranging from life-threatening cardiac arrest and traumatic injuries to routine medical assist. The average response time was 4 minutes and 38 seconds, ensuring timely and effective care for those in need. Through continuous training and quality improvements initiatives, they have maintained exceptional patient care standards, resulting in improved survival rates and positive patient outcomes. In addition to emergency response, they have worked diligently on prevention and education. Through outreach programs, fire safety inspections, and collaboration with schools and community organizations, the Ottawa Fire Department aims to reduce risk and foster a culture of preparedness across Ottawa. The Fire Division responded to 691 fire-related incidences, including residential and commercial structure fires, vehicle fires, and hazardous material incidents. Through strategic training, enhanced tactics, and improved coordination, they successfully contained and mitigated these emergencies, minimizing damage and saving lives. A key focus has been the advancement of personnel development, ensuring the firefighters, EMS providers, and command staff receive the training and resources necessary to excel in their roles. They have implemented leadership programs, expanded specialized training opportunities, and reinforced a culture of safety, accountability, and excellence. Over the past year, they conducted multiple training sessions covering critical areas such as structural firefighting, hazardous material response, advanced life support, and mass casualty incident management. In total, our personnel completed over 13,452 hours of training, exceeding national standards and reinforcing the department's commitment to excellence. Additionally, they strengthened partnerships with regional fire academies and EMS training institutions, enabled access to specialized certifications and continuing education opportunities for personnel. Looking ahead, they aim to expand training capacities by modernizing facilities and increasing access to advanced equipment. Also, over the last year, they reached over 2,000 community members through targeted fire safety campaigns, school presentations, and community outreach events. The Ottawa Fire Department conducted 25 fire drills and safety training sessions in schools and workplaces, emphasizing life-saving skills such as evacuation planning and fire extinguisher use. In collaboration with local organizations, they introduced new programs tailored to vulnerable populations, including seniors and children. The Sound the Alarm initiative successfully improved fire safety in 50 households by providing 190 free smoke alarms, 22 carbon monoxide alarms, and education on fire prevention. Looking ahead, the Ottawa Fire Department remains steadfast in their mission to serve with integrity, compassion, and excellence. They will continue to adapt, innovate, and strengthen their capabilities to ensure the safety and well-being of our community for generations to come. Moving over to public property, which is overseen by Commissioner Pearson, we'll start with our 2024 street maintenance program. The city resurfaced 42 blocks for $1.8 million and 11 alleys for $144,000. We also resurfaced the parking lot south of the skate park and the parking area along the recently relocated community food basket for $11,700. Then there were concrete patching on West Madison and Erickson Street for $54,000. This brought the total for the streets program to just over $2 million. Total length was 21,840 feet or 4.14 miles, with a total curb replacement of 3,500 feet in 26 blocks, including 2 full blocks with 40 sidewalk ramp replacements. There are 2 big projects we are working on. The first is the Green Street Elevation Project, which the construction phase beginning in April 2024 and an expected completion date of August 2025. This project will raise Green Street above the 500-year flood elevation level and allow 2 ways of egress for East Side residents and the high school during a flood. It'll also include a wide sidewalk and room for bicycles to the I&M Canal towpath. The project was awarded with a cost of $2.8 million. Then there's the East Stevenson Road, Baker Road, and MBL Drive reconstruction project, which will reconstruct roadways and make significant drainage improvements. This project is currently in the design phase with the construction expected to begin in May of 2025. Funding for this is part of a 2022 $2.5 million grant from the EDA's American Rescue Plan. I do need to point out, however, that both of these projects require significant federal grant money and therefore are subject to the whims of the current federal administration. With that said, I'm excited to share some updates about the progress in our parks. Over the past year, we've seen significant changes and developments that are sure to enhance our community's outdoor spaces. Peck Park underwent a major transformation last summer, including a sports-themed playground with a poured-in-place surface, a splash pad, the largest one we've ever built, along with a shelter, basketball courts, 2 tennis courts, and 4 pickleball courts. Over at Allen Park, we completed renovations funded by a $506,000 IDNR OSLA grant. These improvements included an accessible sidewalk leading to the upper plateau, where you'll find a playground, hillside play space, a shelter, a bench swing with a stunning view of the Illinois River, and even a stone council ring. We also added a paved quarter-mile walking trail along the scenic riverbanks. Down the river to the west are 2 designated gaming areas. One features bag toss stations and the other equipped with chess and checker tables and ping pong tables. Another exciting announcement is Bill's Barking Lot, the city's new dog park. And I'm sure that our 3 canines are going to be making visits there too, right, guys? Last summer, we officially revealed the location at 401 East Lafayette Street, and the park has been named in honor of the memory of Bill Walsh Sr. We're thrilled to share that funds for the park's amenities were raised through Bill's Barktoberfest, a fun and family-friendly canine event, which was hosted by the Ottawa Area Chamber of Commerce ambassadors. In addition, Bill Walsh's family has generously donated $50,000 towards park improvements, and we are grateful for their support. Last, we received a $636,000 IDNR Open Space Lands Acquisition and Development Grant to acquire land for a new sports complex, which will soon enrich our community's recreational options and set the stage for future economic development. We can't disclose any location at this time, but we're hoping to make that announcement real soon. On to the Water Department, which is part of our public utilities and overseen by Commissioner Barron. First, there's Catton Road Water Main Extension. The project includes an approximate 300-foot water main extension along the west side of Catton Road, south from North 30th Road. The project was scheduled to receive bids on March 4th, 2025, an expected construction cost of $75,000. Then there's the water main replacement project, which includes West Lafayette Street from Armstrong to Poplar. The project is currently being designed with an expected construction cost of around $800,000. We will be continuing our long-term sewer separation project, which includes Canal Street, where a $1 million CDBG grant was awarded, with the construction phase to begin in May of 2025, and a $1.2 million sewer separation project on Walnut Street. Design work is completed, and a CDBG grant application has been submitted. There are 2 sanitary sewer extensions planned, and currently my phone is ringing, so Tom, put your phone down. The city is planning the Fields Hill Sanitary Sewer Extension, where engineering design has been completed for an approximate 5,000 feet sanitary sewer extension to serve residents along Catton Road, Fields Place, and Lincoln Road, with the preliminary cost of the extension estimated at approximately $1.6 million. And the Timber Lane Sanitary Sewer Extension, where engineering design has been completed for an approximate 1,000 feet sanitary sewer extension to serve residents along Timber Lane. The preliminary cost for this extension has been estimated at approximately $400,000. A construction completion date is not estimated at this time for either of those projects. Lastly, the city has entered into an agreement with Fair Graham Engineers and Environmental from Champaign, Illinois, for the design of a new Fox River Second Wastewater Treatment Plant and sanitary pump station. 60% of the construction drawings have been submitted, with final design expected to be completed in October 2025. Construction is currently anticipated to be completed by 2030 at an estimated construction cost of $33 million. Now, I mean no disrespect to the commissioners when saying we're finally to the fun stuff. My favorite, economic development. We issued 77 residential permits and 22 commercial building permits for a total of $50,000 in fees collected. And then we had a lot of other permits, such as fence, pools, demolition, floodplain, signs, business, registration. We had 274 general contractor registrations and 492 electrical contractor licensing for a total fee collected of $73,000. There was also a number of ordinances. Both Adam Clark and Brent Rolson can speak on behalf of that after this is over if you want to know what those were. I'm basically just skipping over a bunch of these details about the numbers of permits, some of the costs and revenue they produced, and the types of ordinance inspections that were done. I do apologize to our building inspector, Matt Stafford, but those really weren't the details I was referring to when I said that this was my favorite part. The details list will be published later on our city's website. We're entering event season. It's quickly approaching, and just like in years past, I'm excited to share that there will be no shortage of things to do. Between now and the end of the year, the City of Ottawa will host over 35 different events. Some of these highlights include the return of the Third Friday Market, Ottawa Family Pride, Music in the Park and Jordan Block Jams, and a reimaged wine festival. I'm obligated to mention the 11th Annual Starbrook Country Marathon, Half Marathon, and 5K on May 10th. And there's a sensory festival, the Fall Festival, and of course, our hallmark tradition, the Festival of Lights Parade and Kris Kringle Market. Almost every weekend in Ottawa, there is something to do, and I encourage you to see for yourself. There has been a number of projects regarding industry over the last year. The 55,000 square foot Amazon distribution center on Technology Drive in the Ottawa Industrial Park is nearing completion. This facility is referred to as a last mile distribution center with haulers in the morning and delivery drivers operating out of the facility throughout the day. Then there's the Northern Illinois Plasters and Cement Masons building on Warehouse Drive and the new 1,800 square foot ADM Fleeting Operations Office. It was a lot of hard work, spearheaded by our Economic Development Director, Dave Noble, but last year we were able to extend 4 TIFs for an additional 12 years. They were the Canal TIF, the North TIF, Dayton TIF, and East TIF. The Canal TIF extension will prove to be crucial for the continuation of Heritage Harbor, the development of the boat club property, and our new waterfront. In addition to this, the state recently authorized a River Edge Recovery Zone for Ottawa. A River Edge Recovery Zone program helps revive and redevelop environmentally or economically challenged properties adjacent to rivers in Illinois. They provide several incentives to property owners, including building materials sales tax exemption and new construction job tax credits. Not to mention, the Ottawa Industrial Park has been designated as an Illinois Intersect vetted site. This accreditation will hopefully garner even more interest in our remaining properties in our industrial park with the opportunity for more jobs for our region. I'm very pleased to discuss some new organizations formed within the last year. The Ottawa Center for the Arts have plans to bring a wide arrangement of artistic talent to Ottawa that includes theater, cinema, visual arts, concerts, choirs, and orchestras. In January, they closed on the acquisition of the Open Table Church and have been in negotiations for the acquisition of the Christ Episcopal Church. Both of these locations will allow for a vibrant downtown cultural center to be located directly across from the historic Washington Park and Reddick Mansion. Then there's the Trinity Rose Montessori School, scheduled to open at Trinity Lutheran Church on Ottawa's south side. The Trinity Rose Montessori School is committed to fostering a more peaceful world by providing a foundation where young individuals can reach their full intellectual, social, and emotional potential. This is accomplished through a balance of structure and freedom, meaningful work, and a strong emphasis on promoting peace, with opportunity to act as stewards of humanity and the planet. I personally can't think of a more beautiful mission statement. I would like to point out that while other communities are seeing these beautiful pieces of architecture be lost and torn down, and properties being turned into gas stations or worse, Ottawa is finding a use for these spaces that will enrich our community and expand our combined potential. You might have noticed over the last year that there has been a number of remodeling and construction throughout town. We have seen considerable investments and renovations of St. Columba Church interior. Also, there's McDonald's, Culver's, Hampton Inn, Kroger's North. The USDA moved to a new location on Progress Drive next to the Department of Motorized Vehicles. Then there's the change from Home Hardware to Ace Hardware, Scoops R Us next to Tones Cones, and the ongoing renovations of downtown buildings such as the former Bell's Clothing, a building on Court Street, the Ottawa Office Supply Building, a completed short-term rentals units on the 700 block of LaSalle Street, and the hole in the ground is no longer a hole, but instead is becoming a beautiful 2-story building on Main Street. Ottawa has become a destination for dining. I talk to people across Illinois, and when Ottawa is mentioned, the first 2 things mentioned are our restaurants and how beautiful our downtown is. This year, we've added 9 new restaurants and eating establishments. Some of these places include More, Sweet Bean Gelato, Gardenberry Cafe, Keegan's Irish Pub, Hey Sweetie Sweet Shop, Bluegill Boathouse, and GDL Mexican Restaurant. We've also added a few new downtown clothing shops and stores. Lux on Main, Bold and Curvy, Earthly Muse, Free Little Art Gallery, which is in front of Annette Barr's Photography, Autism Center of Illinois, Ottawa Kitchen and Bath, Small Dog Candle Company, and Fresh Prints. The city acquired a number of new grants over the last year, totaling over $5.1 million. Some of these include $118,000 DCEO Site Readiness Grant, a $2 million DCEO PAD Shelter Grant, $650,000 CDBG Housing Rehabilitation Grant, a $250,000 IDNR YMCA Flood Buyout Match Grant, $15,000 CLG South Bluff Historic Survey, a $50,000 Ameren Electrification Grant for EV chargers for the public. We helped get over $200,000 in EV charger grants for Quality Inn, Super 8, and Heritage Harbor. Then there was already mentioned $1.25 million storm separation grant and the $636,000 OSSA grant to purchase park property. The city has also been working with the U.S. EPA regarding technical assistance for the former Peltier factory to help develop a viable plan for that property's future. The fire department received $231,000 for a SAFER grant for fire department staffing, $273,000 for air packs, $31,000 REP IEMA grant for radios, and $10,000 State's Attorney Opioid Fund for stair chairs. Grants in the process include $2.2 million old YMCA property flood buyout grant, which has been identified for further review, the $1 million fire station grant procured by Congresswoman Underwood, and the $3+ million amphitheater grant. Speaking of the amphitheater, our downtown waterfront. May of last year, the YMCA opened their new facility on the Illinois riverfront. This $30 million project far exceeded expectations by essentially doubling its membership in the first month, from 1,900 units and 4,300 members to 3,300 units and 7,400 members. A number their feasibility study stated would take them a year or more to achieve. This project also worked as a catalyst and anchor to the long envisioned riverfront development plan. Design has been ongoing with Ginkgo Planning and Lamar Johnson for our park and amphitheater. We continue to meet and discuss the finer details of the project, including the additional infrastructure of streets, sidewalks, and green and paved surfaces. Attention has been focused on making sure that this is a riverfront that is largely open to the public, but also flexible and allowing us to maximize its potential through ticketed and limited events. The city contracted feasibility studies for both an amphitheater and riverfront hotel, produced by Stone Planning and HVS Consulting and Valuation, respectively. The study for a waterfront hotel proposed an upscale select service lodging facility containing 100 rentable units with amenities such as fast casual dining, conference space and hall, and parking. The study for the amphitheater found the market would support a new amphitheater in downtown Ottawa with an approximate capacity likely in the 3,000 to 4,000 person range. The facility should be multi-purpose. While it's expected to host touring concerts, we expect the facility to be able to host a wide range of other uses, including other entertainment and community events such as tribute and cover bands, symphony performances, children programming, performing arts, movie screenings, various festivals, and anything else that you can think of. I'm very pleased to announce that design of the amphitheater is nearing completion with a look that calls not only to our two rivers, but of the many bluffs we cherish like Buffalo and Starved Rock. Next will be the engineering plans, with earth moving late this fall and construction expected to begin in the spring. As I mentioned earlier, I'd like to end now by sharing a story that I'm sure almost everyone here can relate to. You may have heard that I was recently appointed co-chair of the newly forming Illinois River Cities and Towns Initiative. This organization plans to bring together the mayors of the cities and towns along the Illinois River to work together and bring focused attention to the issues that we all share. Early initiatives include environmentalism, such as combating invasive species, economic development, and infrastructure. The initiative wasn't even 2 weeks old when I was asked to join the Great Lakes Cities and Towns and the Mississippi River Cities and Towns initiatives for a joint conference in Washington, D.C. The 2.5 days were a whirlwind of meetings along with fellow mayors, with senators and representatives, working meals, which included my honored opportunity to introduce and moderate a fireside chat with our very own Senator Tammy Duckworth, and dinners that offered the chance to network with national businesses, congressional staff, embassies, and fellow mayors. On Friday morning, we were welcomed for breakfast at the French Embassy, where we learned about microplastics in our waterway and brotherly projects that are being partnered by the City of New Orleans, the Province of Ontario, and France. As is typically the case, there was a moment where everyone was mulling around, waiting to be seated, and I found myself standing next to Mr. Laurent Billy. I'm probably butchering that name. He's the French ambassador to the U.S. I took the opportunity to introduce myself. Mr. Ambassador, my name is Rob Hasty, Mayor of Ottawa, Illinois. The ambassador's face lit up. Ah, Ottawa. I politely restated, Ottawa, Illinois. There was a slight language, or at least an accent barrier. Perhaps, he went on, you as mayor of Ottawa and me as the ambassador of France together can persuade the president to commit to the Paris Accord, no? I paused as he grinned and grabbed me by the shoulder and finally said, Ottawa, Illinois, by Chicago. There was a very confused, pregnant pause from the ambassador before he burst into laughter and said, oh dear, I apologize, not Ottawa, Canada? No. He shook my hand as to reintroduce himself. I apologize, the last screen, Kevin, doesn't work. He shook my hand as to reintroduce himself to me and said, "Well, perhaps you can still help." No? And I nodded in agreement and said, "Sure, let's get right on that, sir." So, thank you everyone for your time today and your interest in the city of Ottawa here in Illinois. And now, Jay, we can take some questions.
After listening to the accomplishments of our great city, our wonderful commissioners, our mayor, all of the amazing team that we have in the city of Ottawa, what a list of accomplishments. What a blessing it is to live in this great community. Let's hear it for the city of Ottawa. At this time, I'm going to ask Caitlin Carrier to come up and help me at this time to provide the questions for our mayor. We've got some great ones, I already know.
Right. What are your thoughts about the solar farm wanting to come in on the east side?
On the east side. The city has been just inundated with solar farm requests. If you add them all together, literally they almost completely surround our city. And it's been rather problematic. We've had a number of meetings as to what the future of those are going to be. We actually looked into trying to form a moratorium on them, but our corporate counsel told us that was a bad idea. So in the meantime, I'm of the opinion that solar farms are a useful part of our overall structure in addition to the other types of energy that we have. However, between the incentives that are being offered to these companies and the kind of Wild West approach that companies are taking to try to get first in line to put them there, it's become very hectic. I know that we're not the only community that's dealing with that. I'm sure you guys are having the same problem up in DeKalb County. What we're doing at this time is evaluating what our options are, looking at what kind of designations that we can do, what zoning things that we can do to restrict it, or things of that nature. Again, in theory, I'm all in favor of the solar farms. The issue is that they're literally coming at us these last few months or year quicker than we can even respond to them. And the problem with that is it's going to button us all in, and there will be no room for expansion. So it's a newer thing that we're working on, and hopefully we'll have better answers in the years to come.
Could we move the yard waste drop off to the middle part of March with the weather patterns changing to warm up earlier, minus today?
I was going to say there is 3 inches of snow on the ground. A lot of that has to do with when the landfill is ready to receive that. A lot of folks know my wife is out there year-round gardening, and she's a part of a lot of different groups trying to make our downtown beautiful. There's nothing that we would want more than to be able to have more access to that. If it's any of the downtown establishments, you can contact Adam Clark about helping to pick up those. If it's in your neighborhood or your yard, I just ask you to wait. We'll say till the snow melts. How about that? So.
What improvements will be done to improve the canal, as at times it is an eyesore?
Yes. We've had a lot of meetings. Marla, did you write this question? we've we've had a lot of meetings throughout the winter with the Canal Association, and there has been a lot of work that's done. I think most folks would recognize after about July of last year when it was filled, it didn't have any of the growth or the ugliness that people like to pick fun at. It actually became a very pleasant thing to look at as you're going over the LaSalle or Columbus Bridge. We learned from those experiments, and we plan to use them from day one with this year when the canal can be with water put back in it. In addition to that, though, what had happened over the last fall is we added a bunch of trees that we had acquired through a grant along what would be the east end of that property. Therefore, over the years to come, providing it with shade. We have plans to add some park benches. We've been working with the Canal Association to find some things for them to be able to do around that to start turning this into the recreational and the recreational place that it was envisioned years before. I'm not going to stand up here and say that the method from there to here has been perfect. There's been a lot to poke fun at. There's been a lot of failures. I still think now that we've gotten most of those behind us and we've seen the improvement over the last year, we can build upon that. And in a couple years, I think it's going to be another amenity to our downtown.
Any improvements on the downtown parking situation?
Well, that's an unfair question because our new chief is not here today, and our former chief is sitting there with a big grin on his face. Here, you deal with this. There isn't any development on it. Chief Cheatham has said that he would like to kind of look at where we're at with it after having a full year of it being implemented. We're aware that there's some parking lots that go largely on empty. We know that there's other ones that are over full. We know that there's some adjustments that can be made to that. Another consideration that's been talked about is there's been just recently a large increase in residential downtown residential living, thanks to you guys sitting over there. That is also added another thing that we're going to have to address. And I know that once Mike gets back, him and I and the captains will start looking at some improvements to that program for the coming year.
Is there a plan for the Jackson Street development?
There is not. That's the quick answer. We've looked at a number of plans. We've considered a lot of them. We've met with downtown business owners. The reality of the Jackson Street Plaza plan is that in order for us to do it right, it would have to be magnificent. And every time we start to look at it, we start to cut away at it to make it more affordable. And the reality is that for as much entertainment and for everything that we do on Jackson Street, cutting it down just to freshen it up just isn't adequate. You couple that with the riverfront development, which is a very large project that's going to be moving a large amount of our festivals to the riverfront. The Jackson Street Plaza starts to become less of a priority. One of the examples I can give on that is of the 35 plus events that Elaine has been meeting with for this summer. A lot of the people who have had who plan for the events throughout the year have been asking for it to be down at our riverfront this year and not in our downtown. We keep encouraging people to leave it in their downtown. It's great business for our downtown businesses, and it brings more attention. It makes our downtown look more full on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday. We get the appeal of the riverfront. It's a wide open canvas that you can do all kinds of crazy things with. But as I mentioned, hopefully that's going to be under construction next year for the next 2 years, and it's not going to be available to downtown businesses, or it's not going to be available to the different events. Eventually, though, if you look at the overall plan for the riverfront, it shows for development on the Jordan block, a 3 or 4 story building with retail on the first floor and some type of habitational on the higher floors. When that happens, what is now the Jordan block is going to get moved over to a new plaza that will overlook the amphitheater. And it's about twice the size of what the Jordan block is. We're anticipating most of our events will move from the Jordan block over to that plaza, therefore further diminishing the immediate need to redevelop Jackson Street like it should be. It is still in the back of our minds. It is a project we'd like to work on, but when you're setting those priorities, and as much as Shelley likes to remind us, setting those budgets, it's one that we continue to kind of push off until we can get it done right.
All right, this last one's a fun one. Which 90s band plays best on vinyl?
Oh,
And have you seen this band live? If so, where?
that's a tough question. 90s band. The problem with, okay, I'm going to bore the heck out of you guys. I blame whoever asked this question. The problem with 90s on vinyl is they weren't recording that music to be played on vinyl. It was recorded in a digital format, then transferred over to vinyl. And doing so, it loses that depth that everyone talks about with vinyl. That said, the bands that did not have the ability to play to record in a digital studio in the 90s still had to use analog. So there wasn't as much lost then. And some of them just did it because they were stubborn. So I know people would think I'm going to say Pearl Jam or Nirvana or someone like that, but the best vinyl record I have from 90s would be Metallica because it has the depth that you would expect from them. And I did see Metallica last year with my daughters, and even at their, what are they, like 60, 70 years old at this point, they put on a phenomenal show. So I would encourage anyone to go and check them out, even if you're not a big fan. They put on a show for everyone. So thanks, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I would I would say that actually I think it's kind of ironic that it's probably his best answer was the last one, right? Just teasing. On behalf of the Ottawa Area Chamber of Commerce, I am very, very grateful from the bottom of our hearts. We are grateful that you are here with us today. What a great group of people. You're all what makes Ottawa so phenomenal. And it is truly a blessing to live in this community. And my wife and I are just thrilled to be here. Before we actually dismiss, we have one more fun thing to do, and that is give away those centerpieces. So all the beautiful centerpieces that were done by Carrie, Marco, and Caitlin are going to be given away today. If you happen to want to keep the tray and give it back to the chamber so we don't have to spend money on that next year, that'd be great. You can just drop it off at the chamber office. But we will tell you that the person who has a birthday at your table closest to this date, March 20th, receives that. If there's a tie, you figure it out. Talk it over at your tables. So before you leave, your attention one